guys, welcome to the series of business studies, chapter 2, forms of business organization. This is OBC Academy and I'm Sushanth. So if you are new to this channel, make sure that you subscribe this channel and ring the bell notification so that you won't miss any future videos. So before further ado, let's start this video. Hey, welcome back to the new series of business studies, chapter 2, forms of business organization. In this video, we are discussing about 5 major forms of business organization. You may ask me what is or what are forms. Forms means different types are called forms. So then what are forms of business organization, or what are the forms are there in the business organization? So when you start a business, there'll be 5 different ways or types of the business organization which you can start. Those are sole proprietorship, partnership, joint Hindu family, cooperative society, and joint stock company. We'll discuss those one by one. So starting with sole proprietorship. What is a sole proprietor? Sole means one or a single person called sole. Proprietor means owner. You got the point right now. Sole proprietor means a single owner. Like I said, a single owner who start a business, that is called sole proprietor. That's how he becomes sole proprietor. That business is called sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is also a business unit, or it is a type of business that is owned, managed and controlled by a single person who receives all the profit and bear all the risk. Those persons are called sole proprietor, and those business are called sole proprietorship business. And we are moving on to the definition. So definition is given by J.L. Hansen. He says that sole trader is a type of business unit where a person is solely responsible for providing capital, for bearing the risk of the enterprises, and for the management of business. That's what he says about sole proprietor. He says that a sole proprietor is a form of corporation or a business unit. That's correct. In that, one individual is exclusively responsible for bringing money, bearing the risk of the whole enterprises, and managing the firm. That is known as sole proprietor. Moving on to the next thing, that is features. So the first feature is formation. Do you think it's easy to form, or do you think it's quite hard to form? Like you guessed it, easy is the correct answer. So starting sole proprietor have a little bit of legal formalities, and in some cases you don't need that also. So in the rare case you need some license and all. In most of the cases the formation and closure is extremely simple. You don't need a huge legal formalities or something else. You can start whenever you want and you can close whenever you need, or whenever you don't want to continue the business. And moving on to the next feature, that is liability. The liability of the sole proprietor or a single owner is unlimited. The word says unlimited. For what you are responsible for unlimited? The debits which has been made for the business are unlimited on you. That means the owner is responsible for payment of debts. If I'm repeating this word, this is important. If a company is failing to fulfill all the debts, or if the company assets are insufficient to cover all the debts, then the owner is liable, or the owner is personally liable for repayment of debts. So that's why it is liability is unlimited. Moving on to the next one, that is sole risk bearer and profit recipient. In this, the sole proprietor bears all the risk of a company fully. In the same way, if company jump into success path, or if company is making handsome profit or good profit, then proprietor gains all the advantages. So that's how the sole risk bearer and profit recipient. And moving on to the next one, that is control. The control is within his hand. The complete control lies on his hand. Whatever the decision you want to take, he can take freely. He has an exclusive power to make decisions regarding every aspect of the company without asking or without seeking permission from anybody in firm, because he is a single owner. He will control the business. He don't want any permission, or he don't want to consent somebody else. That's how the control is efficient, and he has a free to carry all his idea without any interruption. Like any other business, you have to consult with others, and there are so many procedures. We'll discuss that. But for now, the control is very simple. It is in one man hand. And moving on to the next one, that is feature no separate entity. In perspective of law, in a law's eye, there is no separation between you and the business. According to law, you and business are one. Because of that, business doesn't have any identity. That's why a owner is responsible for all the aspect, all the activities which is held in a business or a firm. Moving on to the next one, that is lack of business continuity. This is the last feature we are going to discuss, and we'll move on to the merits and demerits further. So the last feature is lack of business continuity. As a single person, because of a single owner, business cannot run for longer period of time, because death, insanity, or even insolvency of a company can bring the business to end. So the business continuity is affected by this reason. Because of that, it cannot continue. It has a lag in a continuity. Moving on to the next thing, that is merit. The first merit is quick decision making. Like I discussed, as a sole trader, you're not required to consult or notify any other person. So the actions which you need to take in the business can be taken quickly. So the decision making process will happen in a moment. Unlike any other business, you need to take permission and you need to consult other person. So there is no other person here. You are a single owner. You can take the decisions. If you want, you can start, or if you don't want, you can skip that and you can do any other action. If you think the decision is good, you can carry out, or if you do, or if you think it's not quite good, you can end that. So that is the power you have as a single owner. Moving on to the next advantages, that is confidentiality of information. Like here, the proprietor is a single person who make all the decisions. Then you don't need to discuss about his business or any other information related to the business. He can keep it as a confidentiality. He can keep it as a confidential. There is no necessary for him to share about the information about the company or even secrets. So the confidentiality of the business is high here when compared to others. Moving on to next advantages, that is direct incentive. Because you are a single person, the benefit you get from the business is all yours. As a sole trader, all the gains which related to the business is linked to your account, and all the reward which you get from a business is directly linked to you. So this is again another advantage, is direct incentive. So there is no share between benefits. Moving on to the next advantages, that is sense of accomplishment. When you thought you are responsible for your own success, you get that feeling, that is sense of accomplishment. So this is again advantages. Moving on to the next advantages, ease of formation and close. This type of business allows you to start business with a minimum legal formalities. Like we discussed, sole proprietor has a free to form registration. It's his option, and there is no compulsory registration. Because of this, it's less legal formalities in the business, and also it is quite simple to open and end the firm according to his wish. The first limitation is limited resource. In this kind of business, there will be limited personal assets or savings, borrowings. This leads to lack of resource. Again, this is a major limitation or a backdrop for sole proprietorship. This is why so many business who start as a sole proprietor, those business will always small and it will remain small. So moving on to the next one, that is limited life of business concern. As we all know, there will be a single person. When we lost that person, or when we lost that owner by death or insolvency or by any other way, this directly impact the business and it will directly end the business. So this how the life of a business is too short, or it's very uneven. So moving on to the next disadvantages, unlimited liability. We already discussed about liability and what is unlimited liability. So all the burden regarding debts will be fallen to his head. So if company fails or make a loss, creditor can recover the debts not only from company's asset but also from proprietor's personal asset. So this is what unlimited liability. And moving on to the next one disadvantage, that is limited managerial ability. Like in real world, there are so many activities in business, like purchasing, selling, financing, and managing the business itself and various activities which is in the business. Among this, it is very rare or it's uncommon if you come across, you can't be like good in every aspect or every activities that result in lack of decision making. So the decision making will be like very poor because of all these activities, the burden will be more, so there will be limited managerial activities. Okay, now we are moving on to the joint Hindu family business. Before that, make sure that you ring the bell icon so that you won't miss any new videos update. And we'll start again. So what is joint Hindu family business? We'll call it as HUF. HUF is one of the oldest business organization in India. This business is controlled by the eldest person in the family who's called as a Karta, and all other members are belong to this family. Again, they have a equal right over the properties of ancestors. These members are known as percentees. So it's not important as for example, they may ask you what is HUF. HUF is the oldest form of business organization and it is controlled by the eldest person who is known as Karta. So that is enough for what is HUF. Okay, we'll move on to features now. The first feature is formation. When compared to other business is sole proprietor. In HUF, at least you need two members in a family, and with that you also need some ancestral property which is inherited by your family. So that's all you need to start the business. And moving on to the next feature, that is liability. So the liability of all the members except Karta is limited. Limited means it is limited to particular amount. Then how much that amount is, that amount is depends on the amount of share which they are invested. So when we come back to Kartas, the Karta has unlimited liability. Like I discussed about what is unlimited liability, he has to bear all the debts. So that's what unlimited liability is. Moving on to the next feature, that is control. The Karta has complete authorities over this family firm. He'll make all the choice decisions regarding the business and other members should accept his decisions. So the complete control over the business is lie on Karta. Moving on to the next feature, that is continuity. Even after the death of Karta, business won't close because the other eldest person is ready to take off the business as a Karta. So automatically the next eldest person become Karta or he fills the position of a Karta. Because of this, business remains steady. And next is a minor member, and this is again the last feature. Can minor become a member? Yes, of course. When you take a birth in those families, you'll automatically become a member in HUF. So, and minor can be accepted into a business. As a result, a minor can also work in these kind of business. So moving on to the next one, that is merit. The first merit in HUF is effective control. As a Kata is taken a complete control over the business, he has absolute decision making power. So nobody will question him why it has been done or should the decision is to be discussed or not. This is the main reason. Again, when a single person takes decisions, they'll be more effective than multiple people involving decision making. So very effective and very straightforward in decision making. Moving on to the next one, that is merit, continued business existence. When compared to previous form of business organization, that is sole proprietor, the continuity effect because of one person. Here, the business will not affected by Karta's death, insanity, or any other, since they have the portion filled by next eldest person. So he can continue the business. Moving on to the next advantages, limited liability. Limited liability is there, but it is for other persons or other members. Except Karta, all the other members as limited liability, which reduce the liabilities. They feel that they are safe. So again, it's an advantage for the members, not for Karta. Next is secrecy. Here, Karta is capable of maintaining every secret regarding the business and activities. So the confidentiality is more. So the secrecy will be maintained within the family and even more secret will be kept in Karta hand. So it's his wish to share the secrecy among the members. Moving on to the next advantages, that is loyal and cooperation. Because they are all from one same family, it is usually known as very unity and very loyal in the members as we compare to other person who grew from other families or other background. Here they're all invested their ancestor properties and their personal property, and usually a society thinks they have the loyalty and cooperation in their business when compared to other types of business organization. And moving on to the next thing, that is limitation. The first limitation is limited capital. They're all based on one single family. Mostly the ancestral property and the personal property is the limit for their capital. So their capital is very less when compared to sole proprietor. Maybe it's more than them. They can't bring huge amount of capital, so this restrict the business to ability of growth and expansion. So the first disadvantage is limited capital. Moving on to the next limitation, that is unlimited liability of Karta. As Karta has a power of making decisions regarding a company, he has to bear all the risk of a company. First of all, there is a saying, when you want authority, you should accept responsibility. Like that, when Karta has the power to make decisions or to maintain secrecy and to involve in every activities, he has a complete power. When they have authority, there will be a responsibility train automatically. So when he accept authorities, he must accept responsibilities. Those responsibilities are unlimited liability. So this is a limitation for Karta. Moving on to the next disadvantage, that is dominance of Karta. Like here, Karta handles business on his own idea or his own thought. Sometimes it's may not acceptable from other members. This usually generate like conflict between other members. That's how they can separate from their business, and even sometimes they can separate from their family. So there'll be dominance of Karta because of the overpower which is given to Karta. And moving on to the next and the last limitation, that is limited managerial skill. As because of Karta cannot be expert in all the field, so his judgment or his decision making power may sometimes go wrong, or it is not balanced decisions. This may sometimes affect the company, and even sometimes the worst cases his decision may lead to failure. So as a result of this, nowadays it's quite hard to find like joint Hindu family business in India. Its number is decreasing when compared to like last decades and so on. Finally, we are moving on to the partnership. So partnership is a quite common term we all use once in a while. So first of all, straightforward, we'll move on to the meaning. Partnership is a voluntary association of two or more persons who agree to carry out the business by joining and sharing the profit, losses equally, or depending on their shares. Usually, we all know what is partnership. If we move on next, is given definition. So I'll read out the definition. Partnership is a relation which subsists, that means survive, between a person who has agreed to combine their property, labor, skill in some business and to share the profit therefore between them. So this definition is given by the Indian Contract Act 1933. They're basically saying there will be a voluntary association of two or more persons and they will carry out the business jointly by sharing profit and loss. Hey, that's it for today's video. If you like this video, make sure that you hit like, and if you have any queries related to this video, just comment below. We definitely reply for as soon as possible. I'm very excited to bring the part 2 video and even you guys. So see you in the part 2 video. Bye for the day.